So there are two tenets of the story that we are telling you, viewers, when it comes to the protest that is happening against Chidambaram's arrest. But at this point, these visuals coming in from Jantar Mantar in New Delhi, and there on your screens, you would actually expect that there are all political leaders comprising of the opposition parties. But there in the center of the screen, you actually also see a so-called activist, Shehla Rashid, and how she is interacting with the opposition party leaders who seems to be now protesting against the Article 370 abrogation. But what exactly is her role she doing there? Because she's been in the news for all the wrong reasons till now, and this time around too, her sharing the stage with the opposition party leaders and senior-most party leaders comprising even from the Congress, be it from the left as well. What exactly Shehla Rashid is doing there and her role? Because she has raised questions on our army. She's been raising ridiculous questions and allegations that she's come up with. Is that the support that she's also getting from the opposition party leaders? Shavan, how can we explain her presence there with the opposition party leaders? We are not very surprised looking at those pictures there, because when anti-India slogans were raised at the university, we found those very same leaders lending them their support. This time, again, it seems the situation is the same.
Well, Amita, it certainly does not come across as a surprise that Shehla Rashid is now being given a platform by the opposition parties to spew venom against the army. Remember, Shehla Rashid posted certain tweets, and they are notorious tweets to say the least, because when she tweeted saying that armed forces are entering houses at night, picking up boys, ransacking houses, deliberately spilling rations on the floor, mixing oil with rice, etc. This is a lady who's putting out such tweets without any evidence. The question that many should be asking today is that, does Shehla Rashid really have any evidence? If so, why isn't she really putting it out? The fact here is that there is no such evidence to begin with. More importantly, she's got her facts completely wrong. When it comes to the security and safety of Kashmiris, not to forget the kind of sacrifices that have been made by the Jammu Kashmir police, the sacrifice made by the CRPF, the sacrifice that has been made by the army. And today, she has the audacity to question the army, the security forces, by saying that they are the ones who are basically ransacking the houses of Kashmiris, when on the contrary, when we were on the ground, we did see the security forces trying to ease out the problems that Kashmiris have faced. Not to forget that, yes, there were some difficulties that Kashmiris faced because of the communication blackout prevailing in Kashmir. And that is something that everyone has acknowledged. Even the government of the day did actually acknowledge that, yes, there are difficulties that Kashmiris would face because of certain sort of restrictions that have been put in place. But the restrictions were put simply because to ensure the safety and the security of each and every Kashmiri there, because you have an adversary like Pakistan who's essentially hell-bent to basically worsen the situation, perhaps spoil the law and order situation in Kashmir. And that is the reason why precautionary measures were taken. And those precautionary measures, many would say, are harsh, but this is something that the government has basically taken note of. And that is the reason why over a period of time, there is some amount of relaxation that's happening. But coming back to a lady like Shehla Rashid, who's been in Kashmir, who's actually been given the opportunity to come up with new initiatives. And I can tell you that top sources within the government did say that there was some sort of an interaction that did take place with Shehla Rashid when she basically wanted to start off with some initiatives in Kashmir. But that was on the grounds that perhaps this would be done with the intention of helping the Kashmiris. But what Shehla Rashid essentially is doing today is only spewing venom, trying to wedge a divide, and not only that, try and spoil the law and order situation in Kashmir. Today, when the opposition parties are backing her, giving her a platform to spew venom, the question that needs to be asked to the opposition parties: on what basis are you really doing that? On what basis are you threatening the national security of our country? On what basis are you making these allegations? Do you have any evidence? That's the moot question. But perhaps they do not have any evidence. Perhaps they do not have at least the guts to come out, go out and find out what's the real truth there. The real truth that Republic TV had basically put out. Yes, at the same time, we did say that there were certain difficulties that Kashmiris had faced. But despite that, there is perhaps a deliberate attempt to peddle lies from Kashmir.